Hi, sweeties. How are you doing? Welcome to Cimnanya. If this is your first time of coming across this channel, sweetheart, kindly smash that subscribe button, turn on the notification so you get notified each time I upload. And please give this video a thumb up. I appreciate you all so much, and I want to say a very big shout out to every one of you for all the support, all the love you all give me. I am truly grateful. Thank you all so much. So today we'll be talking something really very important, and this is a question that they asked this Asian woman. The last a big blow to Black people was dumping drugs into the community. That's something Asians never had. And I remember that I have read something about how CIA actually dumped drugs in Black community to to render Black youth useless and all that. You know what? Stay glued to the screen. Let me roll this clip. We'll come back to talk about it. And I absolutely want to read your comments. Let me know what you all think in the comment section. And straight up, let me roll the clip.
I agree with this comment, and while that has never been done to Asian Americans, I would like to add that Asian Americans and Chinese Americans in particular should not act surprised at the idea of colonizers pumping a population full of drugs for the purpose of destabilizing, exploiting, and extracting wealth from them, and then later pointing at the resulting addiction as a sign of inferiority, because the United States did participate in the Opium Wars, so I don't know why any of us would be surprised that they're using the same tactic against Black people in the United States.
So when they dump this drug in Black community, it's more like taking money away from them. It's also more like wanting to kill them because drugs is not good for anybody. When you start doing drugs, like a whole lot of things changes about you and all of that. So they spend money on drugs, their health deteriorates, like everything about them. I mean, what kind of wickedness is this? You know what? We are going to go into the stitches and see what people are saying about this. So here we go.
I don't know why any of us would be surprised that they're using the same tactic against Black people in the United States.
Watch the entire video. And it's documented, right? It's no conspiracy theory. It's no old wives' tale. It's no urban legend. Like, it is a documented fact of history that the United States government did purposely allow the drug trade to infiltrate Black communities for the purpose of destabilization. We know that for a fact. We need to unlearn the propaganda that the oppressors teach us about our fellow oppressed.
I agree with this comment, and while that has never been done to Asian Americans,
I mean, I'm not saying that's kind of what's happening with the opioid crisis. We get to just thin out the herd of poor white people, but I'm also not saying that it isn't. I'm just saying, poor white people, you are as expendable as we are.
I agree with this comment, and while that has never been done to Asian Americans,
I absolutely love that creator. Go back and watch her full video just to see what she's talking about, but just to bring more light to what she's speaking of. If you look at the opioid crisis versus the crack epidemic, even the way that they talked about it, described it, the way that they treated the victims of the, addictions is completely different. What we call crackheads, which were majority Black people, were locked into prison, while tweakers, which are people who are on opioids, are offered help, housing, jobs. They are even offered a safe, reliable alternative to the drug of their choice. That didn't happen. So I just, you can see the difference. It's there.
Y'all, I just saw this on my timeline. Let's talk about it. Every show now acknowledges that the CIA actively put drugs in minority, specifically diaspora, communities in the 80s, but at what point does restitution start happening for those communities? This is what I'm talking about. When stuff starts to get put through the media, put in TV, written into shows, what it does is two things. It slightly adjusts the narrative just ever so slowly to where we won't notice, but generations later there will be so many iterations in the history of what actually happened. But it also does one more important thing. It socially conditions us to normalize that this happened. People believe because it's on TV, it's said and done with, and people have been paid restitutions. That's not the case. There's documentaries and shows on the Tulsa Race Massacre and what happened in Rosewood, all sorts of things, and none of those things have been dealt with on a nationwide scale.
The black community will never be the same. It was destroyed by the obvious things. Here, let me explain. In the 80s, when the drug epidemic was introduced, we couldn't afford cocaine, so we turned it into crack and smoked it using pipes and spoons. No fathers was around to be mean to their child. They were told to stay away or everyone will be evicted from the house. The education funding was low because we're in poverty-stricken areas. No one could afford college to even try to make their lives better. There was no recreational activities because the community was poor. On every block may be a church adjacent to a liquor store. Now we have these things called weapons supposed to be made for our protection. But while we're high and drunk from our environment stressing, we have to rob for the only escape, which is drug possession. So we'd rather not hear your opinion on what we can do to change our ways. Physically, we're free, but you turned our mind into a slave.
I mean, this is really so crazy. I don't know. But then she did not stop there. She also went further to explain some certain things to the black community. Said, go to the screen, let me roll this clip, and then we'll come back to talk about it. So here we go.
The difference between the United States and Asian and African countries that are homogenous is those countries are homogenous because they mind their own business. For example, I would never dream of complaining that Finland has a white supremacist society because Finland is over 91% Finnish with hardly any people of color living there. Finland is over 91% Finnish because Finns mind their own business. But the United States was founded by white people who went around the world colonizing, kidnapping, and stealing. Indigenous people are here because the land was stolen. Black people are here because they were stolen from their land and brought here under the system of chattel slavery. Latinx, Hispanic, and Asian people are here as a combination of colonization, stolen land, stolen people, and the habit of recruiting immigrant labor to come and do jobs that white people didn't want to do. Other countries do not put out a welcome mat at their point of immigration that says, give us your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. But the United States does and wants to claim that it's a multi-ethnic society. But your comment shows that you know that in the United States the deck is stacked in the favor of white people. You just don't want it to be called white supremacy because you feel it's the natural order of things because you're the majority. And I don't wonder why so many of you are terrified of losing the majority in the foreseeable future. But the United States was founded by white people who went around the world colonizing kids.
I agree with the bulk of the message here. With that said, it sounds as if you are mad or chastising white people for winning the war and getting the spoils of winning that war. To the victor goes the spoils. Yes, white people conquered the planet. It is what it is. They went around colonizing or whatever semantic that you want to use, but ultimately they were waging war on the planet. And the result of that war is that they have become the dominant people or the main people of the planet. It is what it is. If we want to change that, then we are going to have to do something similar to usurp them from the throne. The only way that typically happens is with violence. If you're not ready to do that, then we're just going to have to accept what it is for right now.